Thanks for joining us today. My name is Shaumik Ghosh. I'm Senior Assistant Editor with the Economic Times CIO, and we are reporting live from the sidelines of Thoughtworks Digital Leaders Forum. Joining me now is Mr. Ashish Grover. Ashish, thank you so much for joining us. And for the benefit of the audience, if you could just introduce yourself, please.
Thank you. Glad to be here. I am Ashish Grover. I'm a technology advisor for the Falabella Group. I was ex-CIO and CTO for the group based out of Chile. Falabella Group is a retail conglomerate based in Latin America with Chile as the headquarters. And before that, I've been also a CTO for Agio.com and I also spent a decade with Tarbo. So very glad to be here.
All right. Thanks, Ashish. Now, Ashish, to start with, we'll start with a question on AI. Now, AI, a lot of companies are adopting AI and the adoption scale has been rapid. But then you've recently stated that AI pilots, doing that is easy, but then it becomes a problem when you're trying to scale. You've also cited industry reports where AI projects, they take off, but then they kind of get stuck in the pilot stage or they get shelved like an old science project. So, what would you advise to our leaders out here? How do you ensure that they're able to get AI right the first time, and how do they get business value out of it?
See, as we were talking, right, the MIT report that recently has come shows 95% of projects are not able to deliver the value that they promised of AI. And the fact remains the basic. I mean, we don't have to do AI for the sake of AI. We have to follow the fundamental principles of value realization of why you are doing any project, right? And it starts from a corporate vision, the AI vision, leads to the business priorities. And all the projects have to fundamentally solve that problem. Either you're doing it for efficiency or you're trying to do it using the same to do more, or you're really transforming and doing a new revenue generation streams, right? Right. Fundamentally, AI projects have to be the means to achieve that. No, that's number one. So it has to be top down from a priority to the problem. The question then is how do you do that, which is an enablement part of it. Whether you have to have a talent which is ready, you have a data tagged to be AI ready, do you have tools and technologies available to follow this workflow where AI is needed for that.
All right. Well, golden words right there. Don't do AI for the sake of AI. Right now, coming to the second question, when you're talking about AI, we also see that about 80% of AI projects, according to a Harvard Business Review, they don't get the intended results and they don't make it past the second stage. Now, what is the data foundation that's necessary to ensure that your AI projects are successful when they are being deployed?
As we were talking, right? I mean, fundamental currency of AI is tokens. And how do you get those embeddings and token is making sure data is ready for that. It is tagged well and it is available to be used in tokenization, which gives you to be given as a context to these models and be used in the workflows that are enabled by a intelligence artificial intelligence models, right? Right. So the making sure data is not only accessible, but is also tokenizable and is tagged well for that. That is a fundamental principle that is different from what we have been used to. And obviously, you have to make sure there are guardrails of protecting your data, you're compliant, and you have trust on the data that you are using.
Absolutely. Great pertinent points there. Now that we are seeing so much of data hallucination and biased AI models, I think, that's a great principle to follow. All right. Now we have spoken about the technology side of it. How about the business side of it and the leadership angle? Now, we often hear about an AI first culture. What goes behind building that kind of a culture? How do you foster a culture of innovation that drives AI projects?
There is a paradigm change that is happening today with AI. So, what we were used to is there is a human, and kind of technology is a slave to the to humans. So, the intelligence comes from human, and the task execution comes from the system. Now we have a paradigm change. We have a human, we have a deterministic system, and we have this in between digital intelligent worker, which is AI, or you call it agent, or you call systems. And we need to learn a way of making these three work instead of the two elements that we use to have, which means fundamentals change in a culture and openness to redefine your workflows and not get threatened by. And that changes from top to down. It also changes from how do you create a awareness and how do you create a overall in the organization psychological safety to be able to adopt that.
I think that was a great point on psychological safety, and thanks for bringing that up. All right, folks, that's all we have for you today. That was Mr. Ashish Grover. Thanks again for joining us, and it was an absolute pleasure hosting you. Thanks. All right, see you.